Welcome, everyone, to the Chicago Football Connection podcast. I'm your host, Steve Letizia. Follow me on Twitter at CFC Bears, joined by my co-host, Luke O'Grady. Follow him on Twitter at Luke O'Grady. And we're talking training camp today. I actually was there in person today, drove down from Wisconsin to this morning to watch the Bears practice. And I thought we'd do a live podcast. We haven't done one in a long time, but we figured hopefully some people can jump on, ask questions, and stuff like that. So I guess we'll jump right into it. Before we get started, Luke, how you doing? How's your week been?
Been a good week. I just got back from a work conference last week, so it's been a bit of a more relaxed week, and I've been able to get out and golf a couple of times, which has been nice.
Nice.
Not as nice as going to training camp though.
Yeah, no, it was good. The vibes I thought were pretty high. I think today, you hear reports of Justin Fields throwing to DJ Moore and all things on Twitter all the time. So going into it, I was expecting to see that, and I was not disappointed. They were able to hook up a lot. It seemed, he was constantly looking for DJ Moore. So, and they did have that at least one big play down the sideline. The Bears kind of tweeted it out. It was just a perfectly thrown ball. So that was really nice to see. Like I said, you see the reports on Twitter, but you don't know how exaggerated they are. And I'm ready to report that they're not exaggerated at all. That connection is real, and that's going to be really something that's fun to watch. Fun to watch this season.
Do you think we're going to see DJ Moore this Saturday? I know that we've Flu said we're definitely going to see some Justin Fields.
I would imagine that Justin Fields, DJ Moore, probably Mooney, those guys are going to see one series, maybe two. It depends on how long that first series is. If it's just a 3-and-out, they might go out for a second one. If they could put a little bit of a drive together, I think they'll get taken out. But it was interesting that they said, Eberflus said that it's not going to be on a unit. The first team isn't going to get X amount of snaps. Justin Fields might only get 5 snaps, but Darnell Wright, he didn't say this Darnell Wright specifically, but just putting two and two together, Darnell Wright might get 15 snaps or a couple more series.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. I think that's a really good way to handle it because Justin Fields, DJ Moore doesn't need to play a lot of snaps. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. But, Tyler Scott, who might play a big role, should be playing, the whole first quarter or even half maybe. So,
sure.
So that was definitely the big takeaway I thought I had today was Justin Fields to DJ Moore connection. If we're talking, other wide receivers that made an impact, I thought Darnell Mooney looked really good as well. He, especially in the one-on-ones, he was pretty much uncoverable in the one-on-ones. He beat Kyler Gordon pretty bad on one. Gordon did cover him. Did have a better second rep, but he still kind of got open. So Darnell Mooney, that was really nice to see. Tyreek Stevenson was also pretty impressive. He got beat a few times, but he was constant. Even the ones that he gave up the reception, like he was covering DJ Moore on that deep route down the sideline. But you can't really blame the coverage there. It was just a beautifully thrown ball. DJ Moore high pointed it, but even on one-on-ones, he was holding his own. So even when he did give up a reception, he was still around the ball. So that for a guy who's a rookie, that's really impressive to see.
Was Eddie Jackson out there today?
Eddie was out there. I'm not sure if he was doing in the 11-on-11s. He was definitely out there practicing. It was hard to tell because they have the 2 practice fields, and in the 11-11 drills was on the far field away from the fans, which kind of sucks because you're there to see it. So it was kind of hard to see all 22 guys. So I was just trying to focus really on the offense for the most part. I don't think Eddie Jackson was out there in 11-on-11s, but I could be wrong.
And what about Terrell Smith? I didn't hear much about him today.
Terrell Smith was not practicing today, so he was out. He wasn't even on the field, out on the sideline, from what I could see. So a couple of guys were out. Terrell Smith wasn't there. Yannick Ngakoue was present, but only did individual drills. Did not practice in 11-11. Tremaine Edmonds was out. Nate Davis was still out.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting. There was a couple other guys too. Tevin Jenkins went out for a little bit, came back.
Okay.
Alex Leatherwood went out, didn't come back. So they had a couple injuries there. So, but for the most part, I think they're healthy. I think Edmonds and Ngakoue, those are just veterans. And same Davis, I think they're just moving him along slowly. But he's a veteran. I don't think he doesn't really need to have a full training camp to step in week 1. So
Yeah.
hopefully no issues there.
Yeah, Eberflus said in his press conference today that he doesn't expect anybody that's been missing practice at the moment to not be available for week 1. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, DeMarcus Walker was another guy who was still out today. I know he's missed a good chunk, but he was there. He was running around talking to guys, but he just wasn't wearing pads, wasn't doing any drills or anything. But I think another guy who's a veteran shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. What else? Anything else? Anyone else leave an impression on you?
Couple guys I thought really flashed. One guy was Gervin Dexter. Gervin Dexter, he played primarily with the 2s. He didn't play a lot with the 1s, so take it with a grain of salt, but he was constantly in the backfield. Run plays, pass plays, it didn't matter. Like I said, we're kind of far away from the action, but that get off issue, I didn't see anything. He seemed to be pretty quick off the ball. Not, so I didn't, again, kind of far away, but I didn't really see an issue there. And just based on the results, like I said, he was constantly in the backfield, constantly putting pressure on the quarterback. In one-on-ones, I was trying to look at the offensive line, defensive line, and one-on-ones because I know that's what a lot of people wanted to see, and he was dominating there too.
Really? No get-off issues?
Not that I saw. It looked fine to me. So Gervin Dexter really had a nice day. If we're talking other defensive linemen, Dominic Robinson, I thought, had a really impressive day. He was so with DeMarcus Walker out, Yannick Ngakoue not playing 11-11s, he was getting the start. It was him and Rasheem Green as the 2 defensive ends. And he was lining up primarily over Braxton Jones, and he was making Braxton Jones' life difficult.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I should be concerned about Braxton Jones. I did want to kind of mention that as well. Braxton Jones, I thought, didn't have a great practice from what I saw. But Dominic Robinson, I'm hoping it's a thing of Dominic Robinson kind of putting some things together because he looked impressive. He on the play to Mooney that the Bears tweeted out. If it was a live action game, I think he would have had a sack on that play.
Oh, really? Over Braxton Jones?
Over Braxton Jones.
So I think Braxton, you should be right.
Yeah, I would say that's
Robinson.
Yeah, I'd say the report from what I saw was overwhelmingly positive for most things, but I would say that's probably the big negative that I saw was I didn't see a lot. Again, far away training camp, big grains of salt, but man, I didn't think Braxton Jones had a good day today, and it was weird seeing him beat because it's not Dominic Robinson was not bull rushing him; he was beating him with speed around the edge, which is not rare where Braxton Jones had issues last year. So that was interesting to see. So again, hoping that's more positive for Dominic Robinson and not so much negative for Braxton Jones. But if we're talking positives on the other side, I thought Donald Wright had a really good day. I didn't really see him get beat. I had a better angle at him because he was on the right side, so I was watching him a lot, and I didn't see him get beat once. He had one false start that I remember, but besides that, from a pass blocking standpoint, I thought he looked pretty good, really good, and no one beat him. Again, he's going up against Rasheem Green a lot, but still, you're going up against who you're going up against. So, yeah. So I thought that was very encouraging. Ja'Tyre Carter got the start with the ones at right guard with Nate Davis out. Didn't see anything really negative or positive from him. Just, solid day. Offensive line, didn't see any snapping issues from Cody Whitehair. I like to see that.
Yep. Big.
Like I said, Tevin Jenkins went out for a little bit, but came back, which is good to see because, he's had some injury issues in the past. So, but I thought the offensive line looked pretty good. Really no glaring issues besides, a few reps from Braxton Jones. But for the most part, Justin Fields had time in the pocket, which was nice to see. I thought the coverage was pretty good, though. There were times when, no one was really getting open downfield, but I thought Fields went through his progressions well and was hitting his checkdowns, which, is something that I like to see more of him. So he's not scrambling all the time. So hitting checkdowns. Khalil Herbert made a couple nice catches. He looked smooth catching the ball, which was good because we've seen Khalil Herbert kind of struggle with that in the past. So, again, it was hard for me to come away with too many negatives from today. I thought the offense as a whole won the day, I would say. Defense made some plays, but, for the most part, they won the day. They did towards the end of practice, they did the 2-minute drill and they actually like driving down the field. And I thought the Bears Bears got into field goal range. Bears first team offense got into field goal range or into the red zone every time.
Nice.
I don't think they scored one touchdown. I think they would have kicked. They went for it on fourth down, but they would have kicked 2 field goals if they had it. So they were moving the ball well. Trying to think of other guys. Noah Sewell.
I was about to say, he kind of seems like the guy that everyone has been talking about today. Noah Sewell. Heard his name a lot.
So he was getting the start over Jack Sanborn at linebacker. So Tremaine Edmonds was out.
Yeah.
So he was getting the start at the mic. So that was very interesting to see. So they must be very high on him. I thought he was moving pretty well. He was making plays, got 2 interceptions. I think both of them. I don't think one of them was off Fields. I think one of them was off either Walker or Peterman. But yeah, it was good to see him moving around. He had really good tape in 2021 and then not so good tape in 2022. So if they can get the 2021 version of Noah Sewell, that's a really good player there. But yeah, it was interesting seeing Jack Sanborn, on the bench again, because going into the year we were like, okay, Sanborn's possibly a guy at Mike, and then they signed Edmonds and Edwards, and then they drafted Sewell, and it's like, okay, now you're still a backup. So that's kind of interesting, but.
Yeah, it seemed like in the Eberflus presser that maybe Sanborn was dealing with some sort of injury, and that's why Sewell might have got more looks there. Okay. He said that the exciting thing is that he did say though that when Sanborn gets back, it is like a true competition at that spot.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't see that. So that's good. It's good to have that competition.
Yeah. 100%.
Last year, the linebacker core as a whole was. After the Roquan trade was so abysmal. So it's just anytime you have competition there.
Yeah, it's crazy that we were looking at Sanborn as one of the the best linebackers in the unit last year for a little while, and now he might be the 4th best. It's impressive how quickly that unit got revamped, and I mean I've talked about this press conference now a couple of times. It's worth the watch. Eberflus, anytime Eberflus talks, it's probably worth checking in on. But he mentioned today, how much he thinks some of these positions of importance on this defense are coming together and how important that linebacker position is for his defense. So you can see why they've made it a priority.
Sure. We do have a question here. Do you know who's winning the backup safety spots? Just based on today, Jaquan Brisker, I forgot to mention Jaquan Brisker is also out. So got a good look at some of the other safeties. I thought Adrian Colbert played decently well. He's a veteran, and he was getting the first team reps on defense at 11-11. Okay. So I think he has a good chance. Elijah Hicks, I believe, was the other safety. And no one else really stood out on the safety wise. So take that for what you want, for what you will. But those were the 2 guys who were getting those first opportunities with the safeties. So look for them to they'll probably play a lot this first week against the Titans. I would imagine Eddie Jackson probably, if he does play, will only play a few snaps, but most likely won't get much reps on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday should be interesting, especially for a lot of the rookies. That'll be kind of, I think, what'll be biggest to look for. People that are probably going to get 1 or 2 drives, maybe 3 or 4 drives, as opposed to thinking about in terms of snaps. Hopefully we'll see Darnell Wright get a lot of reps, and hopefully we'll see Tyreek Stevenson get a lot of reps and Terrell Smith get a lot of reps. It would be unfortunate if, a lot of these guys like Eddie Jackson or Terrell Edmonds. Sometimes I feel like I'm messing this up. Is it Tremaine Edmonds?
Tremaine Edmonds, yeah. Terrell Edmonds is his brother.
I know, also played Steelers. Yeah. It'd be unfortunate if some of these guys get shut down for the whole preseason. But I would understand it. There is a handful of guys, like we said, DJ Moore, but also like an Eddie Jackson or a Tremaine Edmonds, where there's not really any chance that someone usurps them as the starters in their positions, and they know the position enough where they probably don't need game reps, but maybe more just because he's learning a new offense this year. But he was just so valuable at the trade that I would be surprised if some of these guys get risked, but. Eberflus said that they're going to have a plan for each player going in, so we'll see. I guess we'll get a better idea this year of the tendencies that this regime tends to go with in the preseason.
Yeah, I would imagine, especially with Fields and Mooney and Moore on the offense and Kmet probably, it's going to be 2 runs and a slant.
Yeah,
it's going to be that. I can't imagine they're going to take too many deep shots in with their starters out there in the first preseason. But you know, I'm fine with that though. I like watching the preseason to watch the guys who are fighting for a roster spot or the rookies like you mentioned. Like I'm really excited to see Darnell Wright, Tyler Scott, Roschon Johnson, all those guys. Yeah, Tiger Stevenson, all those guys. See how they kind of adjust because that's really our. I mean, we could watch them in college all we want. You really get a really good idea of who's actually a football player when they put the pads on that first time in the first real game. You know. Most of the times they're going up against 2s and 3s, but still, at least you get a good idea of where they're at. So,
I remember the first preseason game for David Montgomery. He had a really nice. I think it was against the Panthers. He rattled off a really nice drive and he capped it with a nice play for a touchdown. It was like, we might have got a guy here. We hope we had that moment with someone this week. Tyler Scott could be a guy that could have a great game because he'll probably see 2 or 3 quarters. I think he's only like 4th on the depth chart right now, 5th on the depth chart behind ESPN.
Yes. So the top, there was the clear top 3 in practice today. Obviously, Moore, Mooney, Claypool. Claypool actually got hurt in one-on-ones, pulled up a little lame with his hammy, so he didn't play in 11-on-11. So the first wide receiver in the 3 wide receiver sets was Equanimeous St. Brown, which is fine. And then it looked like Tyler Scott and Velus Jones were kind of rotating in after that. So but Tyler Scott, I would say he didn't really have like an amazing play here, but he did look fast. He did make a couple catches. So I'm really excited to see how he does on Saturday. He's definitely a guy I'm watching. But that was kind of the wide receiver rotation. No other wide receivers really stood out either positively or negatively. Trying to think of I think it was number 82. Darius Fountain made like a nice catch, got open once, but that was in one-on-ones. But besides that, not a whole lot going on with the receivers outside the big name guys.
I don't know if you saw. Did you see the Bears logo got changed?
Yeah, I did want to talk about that. What are your thoughts on that?
I wonder what the implications are of a change like that. I think, I have always liked the Bears head more. But like there is a little part of me that's like, that C is the Bears logo. At least it always has been, when you're scrolling through on Madden, the C shows up, not the Bears head.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's such a classic logo. I hate to change it, but I do like the Bears head logo better. Like if I'm buying a hat or something Bears branded, I'm going with the Bears head logo. But I kind of like the C on the helmet. It's iconic. I'm probably in the minority. I know I saw on Twitter everyone's like, change it to the Bear logo.
I don't know if I want. No, I'm with you. See, I don't want the helmet changed. There's a lot of very, very few teams have had such little change over time as the Bears had.
Yeah. If they wanted to do an alternate helmet, I'd be all for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But keep the jerseys the same.
It would be cool to have the bear on the helmet. It would almost be like it almost kind of looks like the Dog Pound logo, like the bulldog.
I think a white helmet with the bear logo on it would look pretty sick.
I have a feeling that white jersey's coming for us, like the white with the white pants, and then maybe that logo, kind of like what the Bengals are doing.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's starting to get a little corny when every team has an all black and an all white. I really do. But also by the same merit, I would love if the Bears did it.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool.
Well, how about you? You like the logo change?
I do. I mean, I like the bear logo. It's just so weird that they made this primary logo change with no fanfare. So I don't know if they have big plans for it. If it's just a minor thing. I'm thinking that it was just something that they did, and they don't really have a lot of big plans. Because if they do have big plans for it, their marketing department completely whiffed on this one.
I know
they could have done a whole campaign. Or,
it just gets announced through the NFL just waiver wire.
Yeah, it was some random guy on Twitter who found it. So very, very weird. But
I think at the very least we'll probably see it at center field now instead of the C.
Maybe that'd be something.
I'd imagine
that'd be interesting.
I think you'd probably get a way bigger, like you're right, you'd get a way bigger announcement if that was going to come with any implications to the jersey kit as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, I
if
think it
the
would.
Bears changed the jersey kit, I'd get like a little. I mean, I guess have to wait to see it, but I would. I have a feeling I would shake my fist at it. I'd be the old guy going, "Don't."
I can tell you right now, I definitely would be the old guy saying don't change the jerseys.
Yeah.
I don't think the jerseys will get changed as long as the McCaskies own the team. I think
Right.
as soon as the McCaskies sell, someone might come in and want to tweak them. But I think as long as McCaskies own it, they're not going to change.
Nice. Oh, that's good. But hey, who knows? You know, we just got the logo change. Although I do like, I think. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyone that you're particularly looking forward to seeing this week in the preseason game?
Yeah, I mean all the rookies. Like I'm gonna be watching Donar Wright for sure. I want to see Jatari Carter because he's been getting reps with the ones. I want to see him because he didn't play much in the preseason last year. Only got snaps in week 18 last year. So I want to see him. They clearly like him. They kept him on the 53-man roster all year, not on the practice squad, on the 53-man roster all year last year. Yep. They didn't play him much, but they clearly like him. He's starting with the ones now with Nate Davis out.
All right, when he's needed to play.
When he's needed to play, he's looked okay. So if they could find a diamond in the rough in the 7th round or whatever he was drafted, I'm really excited to see him. All the rookies
will get like 50 or 60 snaps. Well, no, sorry, he'll probably get like 30 snaps though, just because they probably won't have Tevin Jenkins at the go if he's been injured. They probably won't have Nate Davis go.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be surprised me if he plays like a whole half.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of depth there. So another guy who I thought looked good was Gabe Hoy. I don't know if I pronounced that right. He's an undrafted free agent for Pitt, but he was also playing with guard.
Okay.
He's also playing guard, and he was with the second team and I think that was mostly because you had 2-3 guards out with Leatherwood going out, so you got guys pushed up. But I thought he looked all right. He was moving pretty well. So I want to see him too. Gervin Dexter, I said earlier, if you just tuned in, that Gervin Dexter had a great day today, was in the backfield constantly. Sweet. So I think he can really come in and kind of make a name for himself with this preseason game. Depending on how much Billings and Jones play, he might get some reps against the Titans' first team offensive line. I don't know. But if he gets some reps against the second team offensive line, like the dude is just so strong. If you don't have good technique, he's going to blow you up. So I think he can really come in and make a name for himself.
It's cool. It's kind of like he kind of came in and just really early. He's established himself as just the other guy opposite Justin Jones.
Yeah, Billings is good.
There was never any question about like maybe Walker kicking inside or Dexter or Pickens having a chance there. And I know that they're all young, but still, it wasn't exactly going to be handed to him. But he's gotten really rave reviews so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see a lot of him because he's more of a run stuffer. He did get in the backfield once, maybe for a would-be sack if it was a real game. But yeah, I think he's just a solid player. He's going to be really good for the Bears this year.
Did you have any thoughts on Travis Bell? Did you get to see any of his reps?
I didn't see him do really anything in like 11-11s. I did see Travis Bell beat Larry Borum in 101s pretty. I don't want to say easily, but a pretty good. Yeah, it was Larry Borum, but. I mean, he did win a rep against an NFL lineman, so that was good to see. I'm excited to watch him because the way that Ryan Poles talked about Travis Bell when he was drafted, I've never seen a GM talk about a guy like that. So I want to see him in a live competition. I think he seems like a guy who's you're not going to see him a lot in practice, but like when the game comes on, he's going to be giving 120% and really running around out there. So I'm excited to see him. All the rookies, really. This is really it's our first chance to see all the rookies. I've seen kind of all the other guys. I want to see Sanborn. I want to see how he looks. Hopefully he plays a good amount. Noah Sewell. Yeah, all those guys. Anyone you're looking most looking to see?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, thinking about David Montgomery, it's kind of exciting to think about the looks that Roschon Johnson will get. I think the run game as a whole should look pretty good. I think the schemed run game, with or without Justin Fields, has been pretty good since Getsy's been on board. So I'd like to see, obviously that continue. It'll be pretty cookie cutter because it's preseason, but I think just execution of the run game and seeing Roschon Johnson, because we were saying when we drafted him that if he pans out to his upside, he could be the starter by like halfway through the season. And if that's the case, he'll probably flash in some of these games. So hopefully he turns some heads.
Yeah. definitely looking forward to see Roshan Johnson. I would say today he did rotate in with the ones a few times. Interestingly, I thought Treston Ebner got more runs with the ones. So he was getting rotated in a lot too. So maybe that's someone to watch. He didn't do, yeah. He looked decent in the preseason last year. Didn't do much in the regular season, but he might be a second-year guy to keep an eye out on. They clearly like him a lot. They like his receiving ability. So
he would really throw a cog in the mix as to which running backs I decide to keep at the end of it.
Yeah, I think it would most likely be between him and Travis Homer. Kind of battling out. Both of them, I view them similarly. Third down backs, scat backs, receiving backs. So I think those two guys be fun. But Homer was hurt today, so Ebner kind of got all those opportunities. Dominic Robinson is another guy I'm looking forward to see. If we're talking about non-rookies, second-year players, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just tuning in, he flashed a lot today. And for a guy who, when he was drafted last year, was a project,
definitely.
You want to see 100% a project. You want to see a jump in year 2. So hopefully he can make an impact and maybe get a sack or 2.
And he was like the definition of flashing early last year.
Yeah.
He had an unreal game the first game of the season against San Francisco. And he did it against, some of the best competition in the league. Albeit in a very wet and compromised condition. But either way, he looked good. And even though he kind of tapered off as the season went on, or pretty much right after that game, like he flashed some ability. And like you said, he's a bit of a project. I think he was a quarterback in university, wasn't he?
I think he started when he came to Miami, Ohio, as like a quarterback, switched to wide receiver, then switched to defensive end. So he's been all over the place.
Yeah, so him just getting another season in the game, having some more veterans around him to learn from. Hopefully, he takes a big jump this year. Because if so, like if we don't have to rely on just Yannick Ngakoue to get all of the pressure on third downs and things like that, the Bears defense could be better than people realize.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll come down to the Yannick Ngakoue, and because Yannick Ngakoue has usually been like the second, the Robin on the defensive line for all the teams he's been on, and I think that's helped him. So the Bears are kind of relying on him to come in and be the Batman now.
Yeah,
and so they need someone else to step up on the defensive line. Is it going to be Dominic Robinson? Is it going to be DeMarcus Walker? Is it going to be an interior guy? Is it going to be Gervin Dexter, Andrew Billings, Justin Jones? Someone's got to kind of step up. So I think the defense, the Bears defense this year is going to go as far as like that second pass rusher can get them, because they can't just rely on one guy. They need another guy we don't really know who that's going to be just yet. So that'll be interesting.
Know that Eberflus isn't scared to draw up a blitz if he needs to try and create pressure that way, and like since he's Kyler Gordon had a lot of blitzes. I think Brisker led the team in sacks, so you can see that. But those work even better if you can create that chaos like away from Yannick Ngakoue and let him have his one-on-ones.
Right. Right. The other interesting thing that I just remembered now is we kind of I noticed this when the depth chart was released a few days ago, and they had Zach Pickens backing up Andrew Billings at nose tackle, which I thought was interesting. I thought, okay, well, maybe that's just like, maybe I'm reading too much into that. But then Zach Pickens said today he's been working exclusively at nose tackle.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because that is, I don't think his best fit. He's a sub 300-pound defensive tackle in college. I thought when they was drafted, he was going to be the 3 technique and Gervin Dexter was going to be the 1 technique, but it sounds like that's switched. They got Gervin Dexter playing the 3 and Zach Pickens playing the 1. So that was very interesting. I don't really know how I feel about that. I feel like I don't like that very much, but we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. I do remember thinking like that it could just be that they're trying to get a look at something for like a week, but it seems like he's been there for a while now, and Eberflus kind of hammered it home today that they liked him in that position at the moment. I think Pickens in the interview today too, and kind of talked about being fine at that position and just trying to learn the ins and outs of it. But there was a couple interesting notes on that on the depth chart release. I tweeted out that Kindle Vildor being as far down as he was that was pretty not alarming. You have to know that they weren't too happy with him as the year was going on last year, but it didn't look like he's in a very good position to even make the roster at this point. With Terrell Smith coming on the way he has, and with Tyreek Stevenson and Kyler Gordon and Brisker all being added in the last year, man. Kendall Vildor can find himself as the odd man out to someone like a Josh Blackwell or a Jalen Jones.
Sure, Travis Gibson's the same way. Both those guys were at the bottom of the depth chart, guys who we've relied on our defense the last couple of years to be impact guys. So I think that's a good thing. Overall, these are guys that were, Gibson was like a 5th-round pick. Vildor was undrafted, I think, or something. And then we relied on them heavily to be impact guys for our defense. So seeing them at the bottom of the depth chart is a good thing. But I do think both guys are NFL caliber players.
Yep.
Gibson has shown he can rush the passer. Maybe he's not great against the run. Vildor can, fill in a pinch, but
Vildor's had some nice moments for sure.
He's had some nice moments. He's had some bad moments. He's the definition of a good depth corner. He can help you in a pinch, but you don't want to rely on him for 17 games.
Yeah.
Got another question here. Do you know the team captains? I don't think we know them yet, but we can probably guess. Fields is going to be one.
Fields will definitely be one.
Fields will have Tremaine Edmonds maybe on the defense. I don't know how many team captains do they have.
Yeah, I wonder how many we're going to get.
Eddie Jackson maybe. Eddie Jackson is probably on the defense too.
By the end of last year, we had Eddie Jackson was out, but by the end of last year, Justin Jones was wearing the C on defense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it ends up being Tremaine Edmonds, just because of the way that Eberflus has talked about it. And then Tremaine Edmonds, and then I would imagine probably Eddie Jackson would also get it. There seems to be an air of leadership in the whole defensive back room from him.
Yeah.
Offense, Fields and
DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, maybe. White hair. Yeah, maybe white hair. Yeah.
One of those guys. Those are probably the options. And then they'll probably take a special teamer.
Yeah, Santos or Patty Scales maybe.
Yeah, Scales makes sense. Scales has been here a long time. Seems like the organization really likes him too, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
But yeah, that'd probably be it. I don't think there'd be any silliness with rotating captains. I think we saw that die with Eberflus.
Right. Yeah, that was a Matt Nagy thing, so don't have to worry about that. To be honest, I always thought that was overblown. That rotating captains thing is something that is fine if you're winning, but as soon as you stop winning, then people are going to tear up about it. So
or maybe if you want to do like an honorary one captain a week to join the 4, that would be an awesome thing.
Yeah.
But there needs to be people you can look to in times of turmoil or people that you can rely on when things are going good.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess being a captain needs to mean something.
Right. I that makes sense. I agree with you. I mean, it is stupid, but I don't think it wasn't the reason the Bears were bad.
No, 100%. And and when things were going good, nobody had a problem with it. No one was saying how silly it was, and it was kind of we all liked it. But I do think there's a nature of it where it's you can get excited for the guys when they get chosen the week of. It's a nice little routine or tradition or whatever. But still have some maybe do the hybrid model. The hybrid model is probably the way to go.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So excited. Bears football back. 3 days.
So close to 3 days. We got one more practice open to the public tomorrow.
Yeah.
I won't be there, but it will be open to the public, so there'll be reports. But then that's the last one, and then we just got that's the last one open to fans. And so then we got a game on Saturday. So
we do. They
I'm bummed.
Eberflus has said that he kind of treats these these practices in buckets, and the first one's kind of the slower one where they get back to game speed, and then the middle one they start to ramp up, and then the next day they go hard. So tomorrow should be a good practice. There should be a lot of good game reps. I think he said he likes to go high reps on these last days. So we should hear a lot of stuff about how people are looking going into the weekend, and we're gonna get to see
Bears football, man. Our long national nightmare is over. We've gone through the offseason. We have what now through the end of the year? It is football every week.
it gets extra torturous when you come down the stretch because it's really like all the other sports have died off except baseball during the stretch. So it's like,
Right.
like just that, like the last like month and a half is just such. It feels like it's forever to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, but it'll be. I mean, it's only preseason, so like I'll get really excited this week and then be like, okay, I'm ready for like actual real football to start. But it's still something. I'll take it, and I'm really excited to watch all the guys we talked about today.
When we didn't fire Nagy that season, you know, I didn't really have high expectations for. And then in Eberflus's first season, I think the way that they went in, like with polls, like it didn't look like they were setting themselves up particularly to be competitive. This is the first time in a while where like I really do think this Bears team has a chance to be good. And it's like I can't like I know I'm gonna be a nervous wreck that first weekend. All those, especially considering we're at the 5 o'clock spot, you'll be able to watch all the first games.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a nervous wreck. I mean, you said took the words right out of your mouth. Like,
and versus
the Packers, all day versus the Packers. Watching, and like, I'll be a nervous wreck for the Bears, but I'll also be a nervous wreck for Jordan Love too, because I want him to come out and not be a Hall of Fame quarterback. So
he's so bad. It's so bad to say. Just a guy.
I know.
I
know. Poor guy. He's done nothing wrong to me personally, but I hope.
Yeah, but also terrible. I hope.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're good. I think, you know, like I said, I think I covered all the guys I wanted to talk about. Basically, the big takeaway, if you're tuning in just at the end, was that Justin Fields to DJ Moore is going to be really fun this year. That's the big takeaway.
I'm so excited. I want to see one good little, you know, mid to deep strike between them and in the first drive of this Titans game, and then get them out of the game. I just want to taste. I want to see it. I want to know it's real.
Yeah, that's all I want. I want one completion, even if it's just like a curl route for like 7-8 yards. Yeah. Just give me that. All right. Well, we will watch the game this weekend, and we'll be back next week to do a podcast probably sometime. We'll come back. We're not going to do the live podcast after the show like we will do in the regular season, most likely. But we will talk about it and our reaction. So we'll be back next week. So make sure to follow, subscribe, like the video, share the video, all that stuff. And we'll talk to everyone next week. Bear down, everyone.
Bear down.
Bear down.